Do I think it's wrong to celebrate Halloween or dress up for Halloween because it has pagan roots? Nah, I don't think so. But that's me personally, given what I understand about scripture. But like I said, I do understand that this is a controversial issue in the Christian community. If you ask me, I think it's just like any other commercialized holiday. Stores commercialize Halloween because they know that it's the perfect time to sell candy and sell costumes. Television commercializes Halloween because they know that the craze of this spooky season will cause people to want to watch scary movies. And to my point, with Halloween being so commercialized, the pagan and religious aspects don't have any real bearing on these modern day celebrations. Now, when you start getting away from innocent costumes and family fun and fall festivals and start engaging in demonic practices or witchcraft or fortune telling or trying to communicate with the dead, which is necromancy, now we have a problem. Any form of divination or witchcraft or idolatrous practices were firmly forbidden by the Lord, whether it is during Halloween or any other time for that matter. One of the very first prohibitions that God gave to his people in their early walk with the Almighty was when Moses spoke the words of the Lord to Israel. When you enter the land that the Lord is giving you, don't learn to imitate the detestable ways of the nations there. Let no one be found among you who sacrifices their son or daughter in the fire, who practices divination or sorcery, interprets omens, engages in witchcraft or casts spells, or who is a medium or a spiritist, or who consults the dead. Anybody who does these things is detestable to the Lord. To practice such things that intend to engage in the spiritual world without going through God, it is an offense to God, and it is an abomination, and it is downright dangerous. This includes fortune telling, soothsaying, tarot card reading, Ouija boards, palm reading, horoscope reading. All of these are forms of divination and should be avoided. At the heart of divination is the desire to know the future that belongs to him who is all-knowing. Divination is an attempt to control that which is to be controlled only by him who has all control. At its very core, divination is an attempt to have power that belongs only to him who is all powerful. There are individuals out there who don't want to trust in him who has power, so they try to gain power from other means, which usually end up being demonic. Let's just use King Saul as an example of what it looks like to abandon trusting in the Lord and instead rely on divination or witchcraft. Now, I don't know how much y'all know about King Saul or if y'all know much at all, but King Saul was a very impulsive person and he would get ahead of himself a lot. So there came a time the Philistine nation had assembled themselves against the children of Israel and King Saul in battle. Now, by this time, King Saul has already been rejected by the Lord as Israel's long-term king because of his disobedience in the battle of the Amalekites. God has already let Saul know that he was going to raise up a king after his own heart. And because the Lord had rejected him, whenever Saul would pray to the Lord would not answer him. And to make matters worse, King Saul's main guy, Samuel, is dead at this point. Samuel was God's prophet to the nation of Israel. Samuel was the person that Saul depended on to hear from God. So since the prophet was dead and the Lord was not speaking to Saul, Saul just starts panicking. At this point, he is desperate. So he tells one of his servants, "Hey, I know that we got rid of all the mediums and all the psychics, but I need you to go find me one. So Saul's servant goes to a place called Ender, finds a woman who is a medium. Saul disguises himself and he tells this woman, hey, I need you to use your divination because I need you to bring somebody back from the dead. I need you to raise up Samuel. Listen, before I read this, I didn't even know this type of stuff was possible. But this woman conjures up the spirit of Samuel so that Saul could hear what thus said the Lord. And the sad part is they conjured up the spirit of Samuel only for Samuel to tell Saul the same thing that he told him when he was alive. The Lord has rejected you, buddy. Do you think that I'm going to say anything different than what the Lord said? You did this evil for nothing. How many of us allow fear to cause us to use means that God has forbidden us from using? Saul could not get to God by righteous means, so he did whatever it took to get a divine revelation. What about us?